Hello everybody, welcome to the Cold and Dark channel. My name is Jet Wildcat, and on November 10th, 2024, a very interesting event occurred at the El Dorado International Airport in Bogota, Colombia, involving, yet again, Aerosucre. This time, Aerosucre Flight 372. Here's what we know so far. So this is a report posted on the Aviation Herald by our friend over there named Simon Radecki. An Aerosucre Boeing 727-200 freighter, registration November Hotel Kilo 5216, performing flight Aerosucre 372 from Bogota to Valencia, was departing Bogota's runway 14 left when the aircraft overran the end of the runway and, after becoming airborne, contacted a localizer antenna before climbing out safely. The aircraft entered a hold before returning back to Bogota for a landing on runway 14 right, without further incident about 1 hour after departure. Colombia's civil aviation authorities reported that the Boeing 727 cargo aircraft collided with a localizer antenna at the north runway 14 left. During takeoff, completed the takeoff, burned off fuel, and returned to Bogota. The aircraft sustained damage to its landing gear and left wing. The Civil Aviation Authority is examining the damage caused by the localizer and its impact onto airport operations. They note here that no NOTAMs were published regarding the ILS. We'll talk about that coming up. Colombia's aircraft accident investigation is investigating the incident. So basically that is the NTSB of Colombia. So very quickly after the incident occurred, there was a video posted from one of the security cameras on the airfield. And judging by the still frame here, you can see the aircraft is actually really quite low. No, you're not supposed to be that low, just saying. But we can watch the video. It's pretty self-explanatory of kind of what happened. So as you can see, it seemed like the airplane was struggling to climb for whatever reason. As it says, well, this is the aftermath of the localizer antenna. Now, you might be saying, well, how tall is that? So localizer antenna, typically, if I had to guess, and I've worked in airports for the last 10 years of my career, they're probably 4 or 5 feet tall. So the airplane was no more than probably 10 feet off the ground once it got airborne. And it looked like it was struggling to climb. But that is the damage to the localizer antenna. So just to kind of put in perspective of how far these pilots had to go to hit that antenna. This antenna is not off, right, like literally, it's not, let's say 200 feet off the runway. It's almost 1,000 feet from the end of the runway. So which means they got airborne somewhere from here to here. They were barely climbing when they struck that antenna. Now there are pictures of the wing and the left main gear. The left main gear is completely shredded, and the wing has obviously some damage. Something like this doesn't usually happen. Aviation is such a fine dance of safety margins versus efficiency, and most airlines get it right. However, Aerosucre has kind of ran into this issue in the past, a couple times in the past, but the recent one involving a 727 occurred in 2016 when a 727 crashed after takeoff from the Germain Alano airport in Puerto Carreño. The aircraft overran the runway, crashed through a fence, crossed a road, which the aircraft nearly struck several civilians who were videoing, because 727s are such a, coming to find out, aren't allowed to land at that airport. So for people to see that airplane, that was probably just like, maybe me saying a A380, eventually becoming airborne, but lost altitude and crashed while attempting to return for an emergency landing. The 5 crew members died. 1 crew member survived but suffered severe injuries. In doing some research for this flight, there were multiple safety issues with Aerosucre, to the point that how they're still in business is beyond. There have been several videos of pilots acting in a reckless manner, meaning kind of a low approach, almost a fighter aircraft maneuver, where they get to move over and they pull up. They also have a bad habit of going overweight on the aircraft. Now, the reason aircraft have max takeoff weights and max landing weights and max weights is for safety. Right? The aircraft is tested to these weights, and if you exceed them, you're entering basically test pilot territory, and a lot of times they don't end very well. So, as you can see, it caused them to get cited in 1995 by exceeding the max weight of aircraft's max takeoff weight. And in 2005, conducting an inspection on Aerosucre, they found at least 2 planes were flying with over 4 metric tons. So that's 4,000 kilograms, I believe, over max takeoff weight, which means the airplane is very, very heavy. You don't have numbers for those, for that high of a weight. They've also been known to have stowaways, quote unquote, people that basically they're flying passengers and not as a passenger airline. These are all well recorded. So for something like this to happen again, something needs to be done with Aerosucre, I think. Aerosucre has built his reputation in the aviation community, and many of you all will know this name as kind of sketchy. Flying aircraft past the point that they shouldn't, in terms of weights, in terms of design specifications. Flying weird, non-standard operations in terms of protocols, and nobody questions it in the airline. And I get, in the States, you're lucky to get a job, right? Believe me, if I could leave Spirit, I would probably accept it, obviously, and love flying, because that's what I'm in. But at a certain point, you have to call out people. You're only as safe as your weakest link, and if nobody's calling it out, nobody's trying to fix it. You have airlines like Spirit that are on the verge of bankruptcy and are still operating safely. There's no excuse. You can't say, money. So, I really hope Aerosucre gets their act together, because all it's going to take, they just seem to kind of get themselves in trouble, and you know, you doing that over Bogota, it's not gonna end well. People are gonna die. People are gonna get hurt, and all because you try to get four more tons of cargo on a maxed out airplane. So that is what's going on. Again, we're waiting for the preliminary report from the Colombian NTSB, essentially, to come out with a preliminary report. And again, I'm not assigning blame. However, they do have or not assigning a reason as to why, but you know, maybe it was a miscalculation of the takeoff numbers. Maybe it was whatever it might be. I'm not gonna. But there have been issues with Aerosucre in the past. Them flying heavy, them flying outside the design specifications for the aircraft. And I hope that isn't the case here. I hope this was maybe a simple mistake. Somebody forgot a zero. And even at that, I'm glad it ended the way that it did. The airplane came back, landed safely, and you know, the pilots lived to fly another day. I'm sure they're going to have a wonderful meeting with the chief pilot. Hopefully. But that's the nature of the beast. You don't want to meet the chief pilot? Fly better. So that is all I got on this one. Until the preliminary report comes out, look forward later this week for some more videos. We're going to start pushing out some videos here on the Cold and Dark channel. Also check out we're about to launch another channel, me and a buddy of mine, where we focus on flight sim and comedy. So look forward to that. Outside of that, keep the blue side up. We'll talk to you next week or next time. Bye for now.